Welcome to another audio podcast by Ethnic Studies Reels. Today we're going to talk about what happened to Mexican landowners after the U.S.-Mexican War and why so many people lost their land even though the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo promised to protect it. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, 1848, promised that people living in the territories taken from Mexico would have their property rights fully respected and protected. However, in practice, the U.S. government and courts did not honor these promises. Although the treaty said Mexican property rights would be upheld automatically, U.S. courts decided that the treaty was not self-executing, meaning it did not automatically protect landowners. Instead, Congress had to pass additional laws to recognize those rights, and those laws replaced the treaty's guarantees. Because of this, Mexican landowners had to prove their land titles in U.S. courts. The process was expensive, confusing, conducted in English, and based on unfamiliar legal systems. Even people with valid land grants under Mexican law often lost their land. 27% of claims were rejected in California and 76% in New Mexico. Many who did win their claims eventually lost their land due to the high cost of litigation. Self-executing treaties. The U.S. Constitution makes treaties part of the supreme law of the land, but the Supreme Court created a distinction. Self-executing treaties are automatically enforceable in U.S. courts. Non-self-executing treaties require Congress to pass additional laws. Courts held that the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was non-self-executing, thereby limiting its power to protect Mexican property owners. California land claims process. Congress passed the Land Act of 1851, requiring anyone holding Mexican or Spanish land grants to present their claims within 2 years. If they didn't, the land was taken by the U.S. government. This happened at the same time as the gold rush, when the U.S. sought to quickly open land for American settlers. Perfect versus imperfect titles. California courts originally said perfect titles, fully valid under Mexican law, should be protected by the treaty. Imperfect titles needed U.S. confirmation. But in Botiller v. Dominguez, 1889, the U.S. Supreme Court reversed this protection and decided that all Mexican land grants, perfect or imperfect, had to go through the U.S. claims process. If they weren't filed in time, the land was lost, even if the Mexican title was perfect and legally valid. The court admitted that if this violated the treaty, it was still not their job to enforce the treaty. Only Congress could do that. Overall impact. Although the treaty promised to protect Mexican landowners, the reality was U.S. courts prioritized U.S. expansion, settlement, and mining interests. Courts ignored the treaty's protections and deferred to Congress. Mexican and indigenous landholders suffered massive land loss. Botiller v. Dominguez symbolized the shift from early moral legal protection to a more pragmatic approach that favored U.S. expansion over treaty rights.